Welcome to episode 6 of Media Nest, the podcast where we discuss films and album recommendations each week. And I'm joined by Dylan
Hello there.
and Brad.
Hello.
And this week, our film recommendation was from Dylan, and it was No Country for Old Men by the Coen Brothers. And my album recommendation was this week, and that was The Fat of the Land by The Prodigy.
More like
There
the
we
fat
go.
of your face.
I've been
Prodigy.
working on my pronunciation. I fucked it up already.
Mm.
Right, the Prodigy.
The Prodigy.
Prodigy.
Got it.
Prodigy.
Right,
Prodigy.
yeah.
Easy.
So Dylan, if you want to lead our film discussion this week, why did you
Cool.
recommend this film?
So I recommended this because I, in turn, have been recommended this so many times. Like I've seen good things about this. I've watched movies with Javier Bardem in it, and everyone, like, the two movies I've seen him in, he wasn't good.
Really?
So
Have you seen
yeah.
Skyfall?
see, I didn't like him in Skyfall, and he was
Really?
also in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, what, one of the later ones?
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't
I've
like
not
it.
I've not
that.
seen that.
Yeah, don't watch it. Don't watch it. But yeah, but I've been told that he's a good actor, so I obviously wanted to see his
Yeah.
best film. So yeah, I chose this
Okay.
film.
Fair enough.
So yeah, this movie stars Javier Bardem as one of the main characters. I forgot their names already.
Anton Chigurh.
Cracking
That's the
start,
one.
mate.
Yeah, Josh Brolin, Tommy Lee Jones, and Woody Harrelson, among other people as well. So yeah, I'll start off by asking, have you guys seen this before?
I'll come in here because
Yeah.
I thought I had seen this film, right?
Okay. Yeah, because you
Because-
mentioned that you wanted to see it
yeah.
again.
Because it came out, like, I'm not sure what year it came out. What year did it come out?
2008?
Yeah, so it came out when I
Yeah.
was younger, and I think it was on TV, and I was watching it, and I thought I saw it, and then it turns out when I actually started watching it, I said to Brad after half an hour, I've not seen this film. Because none of the stuff that
Okay.
I'd seen so far did I remember
Yeah.
at all. So what I think happened was I turned it on about half an hour in, and then fell asleep like 50 minutes after that, because I didn't know any of the stuff that happened at the end.
Yeah.
Didn't know what happened at the beginning, but I remember the scene in the petrol garage up until like the second hotel he goes to. So I've
Okay,
seen
yeah.
kind of a lot of the iconic scenes with like the coin flip and the
Yeah.
like motel
Yeah.
standoff sort of thing. But yeah, I was bullshit. I've never seen this film all the way through.
So you lied to us. Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and I've never seen this film, so
Yeah.
never even heard of it either. Never.
Wow,
Heard of it, so-
okay.
Never
So I'd-
heard of it. Oh.
Well,
So
you
I'd
know
heard
me.
of
I
this
live in my own
film.
little cocoon.
Yeah, true.
So a little fun fact. When I was looking up this movie, when I was watching this movie, I'd remembered that The Simpsons did a parody of this movie in an episode. Do you remember seeing that, Adam?
Yeah, I think that was one of the later Simpsons. That was after I stopped
think
watching
so.
Simpsons, I think. So I
Yeah,
was like,
But I was watching.
I'm aware of it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, because I was watching this movie. I was like, why have I seen this character before? But it was
Yeah.
just from The
He's
Simpsons.
he's quite a popular sort of pop culture character now.
Yeah.
He's been in quite a lot of things, and he's always brought up as like a example of like that type of character, I suppose.
Yeah. So all right. So we'll move on to. So what were your thoughts? I'll start with you, Brad. So you've just finished watching the movie. Okay. What are your general thoughts?
So the movie is 2 hours long.
Yeah.
I did check the film about an hour in to see where we was at, because you know it is quite slow in some places. But the one
Yeah.
thing for me that was quite odd about the film was the lack of music. This film
Yeah.
was so eerie.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I looked into that. It was like he only
I looked
composed
into it.
18 minutes of score.
16
Oh,
minutes.
16 minutes, yeah. And it was
Yeah.
like just in a few scenes, and the whole film was like silent. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
so like something's over your shoulder, Phil. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
honestly,
did you think that made it more tense? Because I did. Or
100%.
did you think it made it
100%.
more boring?
No, definitely made it more tense because
Yeah.
you're constantly wondering why there's no music and what's going to happen. Because a lot of films they use music to sort of build suspense, but this is built
Exactly.
suspense by not using music.
Yeah.
That is
Like,
exactly what I wrote.
It's similar to what we spoke about with Possum, where there's a lot of silent scenes where you're like, it makes it more tense and scary because you're waiting for something to happen. Whereas if it was just constant noise, like especially the motel scene, like that, like sequence in
Amazing.
this with no music whatsoever, barely
Just
any
the
dialogue.
footsteps.
It's just like silent and footsteps. Yeah, I thought that was ridiculously
Incredible.
well done. Really
Squeaky
tense.
floorboards. Like you can see the shadow underneath the door. Amazing. But yeah, that's one thing I did. That was let me try that again. That was one of the first things I noticed. Was that this movie kind of created so much tension, and it just wasn't due to the music. So like you get in certain like thriller movies and stuff where like you'll get the high pitched like violins and stuff like that trying to create the tension for you. But the writing and directing of this movie, amazing. You didn't need them.
You got to say it was so well crafted without having to be crafted, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the Coen Brothers, they know how to shoot scenes, you know. One thing I wanted to mention, you kind of briefly touched upon it, but as well as the like silence, the lighting in this film is incredible. Like there's so many scenes where the lighting is important to the plot, where it's like the scene of him outside the door where you can see his feet and then he switches the light off. And there's like multiple scenes of that where you have shadows and lighting. Really builds up the tension. And that's something that some films just don't even consider, where they're using the medium of lighting to tell the story. And
you could also say sort of a little bit later on in that same scene where he's outside hiding behind the car and he sees him walking in the glass, you know. It's
there's loads of mirrors and different lights used in this, and it's all geared towards just making you tense the whole time.
So I think I started with you, Brad, but Adam, what was your kind of thoughts after watching this? Like, you've just put it off. What are your general thoughts? Because for me, I'll start with me actually.
Yeah.
For me, I watched it, and so you said to me that it's a bit slow, and that I wouldn't like it because it was almost the same as
I'll say that. Like when I watched it with Brad, like as soon as it finished, I was like, I'm really surprised Dylan has recommended this, because we just spoke about Reservoir Dogs, and you said I don't like it because there's too much slow, boring dialogue, and I'm like, this film's slow, and I mean it could be considered boring. I don't find it boring, but
it's also longer than Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, it's longer, and even then, there's not even that much dialogue.
No,
like,
exactly.
Most of the film is just silence and like sound effects, basically.
Yeah, but
I thought you would hate it.
So for me, I really, really enjoyed this film. Like the parts that were, there was some slow bits, of course, like with them like walking through the desert and all that kind of stuff. But just watching the movie, it was so nice to watch.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like the desert scenes where it's like, let's say the part where he's like walking through, following like the blood trails, he's got the money in the bag. Like you're expecting someone to just pop up and like something happen, because there's no music. There's nothing to indicate anything's going to happen. So the entire film, I'm sitting there tense. I'm sitting there like something might happen at any time.
It makes it worse. Definitely.
Honestly. So yeah, the entire movie. Plus, I would like to bring up how Javier Bardem's character is one of the best villains, one of the greatest performances I've ever seen.
For me, he makes this film.
Yeah,
100%.
I think the general consensus is that anyway. Like I don't think we're saying anything different to what people have said. I read up that they did a study of like film psychopaths, and all of the psychiatrists agreed that this is the most like clinically accurate portrayal of a psychopath.
Yeah.
And like there is nothing behind his eyes. Like when he's the best scene, I think, or one of the best scenes, is either when he's at the end talking to his wife, the other wife, or when he's like flipping the coin in the garage,
Oh
where
my
that poor
god.
like Southern man's just like, I don't know
Mm.
what we're flipping. I need to know what we're flipping, and he's just
Yeah.
like, call it.
Call it.
It's just like, fuck's sake, what is wrong with this guy?
What am I
Honestly.
playing for? You're playing for everything.
And also, I kind of find it good that he spares him as well, because
Yeah.
he's just like, he's such a
he-
psychopath. He doesn't even care about killing. It's so like
Exactly.
nonchalant to him. That's one thing I did want to bring up. Like, if I talk about my thoughts a little bit, just like the overall feeling, I really enjoyed the film, and as you said, it's like so tense. One thing I really liked was the violence was so abrupt and
Yeah.
like non-cinematic in ways. Like,
Yeah.
like the film
Realistic.
opens with him strangling someone with handcuffs, right? And you're thinking like, oh, he's gonna strangle him, and then it's gonna cut away. No, he rams the handcuffs into his neck, and there's blood
Yeah.
everywhere. And then it's like every time he kills someone, it's just like there's no him like saying a flashy like speech before he does it. For the most part, he
doing it.
turns up, he shoots someone in the head, and then he methodically like leaves the scene or
Yeah.
like cleans up. Like, he's just a complete fucking psychopath.
Honestly, like that scene, that beginning scene, one thing I kind of annoys me in movies is obviously movies are supposed to be, you know, some fantastical kind of thing. But in this movie, it was so realistic. Like the choking out scene, it normally in movies, you get someone choking someone for 5 seconds and then they're dead. In this, it was a
definitely.
strong 20 seconds and severs his esophagus with the handcuffs.
I mean, that's some brute force right there.
Honestly, like it was insane. And even stuff like with when they get shot and they're like patching themselves up and stuff, horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. I also read that they spent a ridiculous amount of money on fake blood. They bought the most realistic fake blood they could, and they spent like way too much on the blood budget. Like
it
for
was
the
brutal.
scenes. Yeah, like especially like what was it? Where he crashes at the end and his fucking bone is sticking out of his arm.
Yeah,
That
the
is
kid's like,
nasty.
sir, you've got a bone sticking out your arm, and he's just like, okay, yes. How
Yes.
much for the shirt? It's like, fucking hell. Like it looks like he doesn't even feel pain.
But that's the thing.
Like
I
the
feel
one
like
where
he
he's
wouldn't.
got shot in the leg as well, and he's methodically putting like the sheet down and cleaning out, and like you just look in his face and you're just like, is this guy even feeling anything right now? He's just like, you've been shot in the leg, bro.
Because that's the thing in certain scenes. So when he does get shot, you see him wince, and then it's just slow, just stony again. You know?
Yeah.
Just that much of a psycho.
You got any more thoughts overall, Brad?
I think the whole cast was all right. It was pretty good overall.
Yeah.
I'd say you can't not highlight the performance there though.
Yeah, there's a standout, but no one's bad.
Yeah, there's no one that's bad in this film. The plot line,
right,
for me, annoyed me in places. Right, so the start was obviously meant to be frustrating because you're meant to like trying to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah,
but you don't know he's like a war veteran until later on in the film. So you're kind of like, how comes he's not more bothered by a bunch of dead bodies around him? Right?
I did quite.
I mean, he's a hunter
because the standard film of this type would be you like immediately he's like, I'm a veteran and I know how to deal with myself. You know, I quite like that it was left for you to piece it up a bit, but I do think the start's a bit slow.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But there was also points where they're chasing him down, and I'm just like, how the hell could they possibly have tracked him this quickly? I mean, obviously with the transponder. I know that bit. But when he got rid of the tracker, and then we know how the Mexicans found him, but I've got I've been trying to work this entire time. I've been trying to work how the hell did like Shigur, whatever his fucking name is, manage to find him?
Because he's just that good.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like when they found him in Mexico as well in the hospital, and the other guy said, "Oh yeah, I found you in 3 hours." How?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they're
trackers,
it's to be presumed that they're like professional bounty hunters or something.
Yeah.
You know,
like
they have
that
access
was kind
to things.
of a little bit of kind of like there's what's it? There's a like fan theory that Anton Chigurh is basically like the angel of death, which is like he just follows him around, and because everyone he meets basically ends up dead apart from a few people. So I kind of I take that on board where there's the film's very realistic, but there's also an element of sort of like magic realism where it's kind of like, this guy's just that good. He does know this. I kind of bought that his character just knew how to find people, you know?
Yeah. Like the fact that he's just fucking this methodical killer who's just like acts on instinct. Like you just can presume that he's just that good at killing and finding people to kill. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of what I think. Like, I do agree that it's kind of left unsaid, but I'm not sure it needs to be said.
Yeah, and then you've also got the rather abrupt killing of your main character.
Yes.
I love that. Right. I fucking love that. Go on, Adam, you go first, mate.
Yeah, can I just say, this is how I knew I'd not seen this film properly. Because that I literally, even when his body was on the ground, I was like, oh, he's just like put his clothes on a different person. And it was like, no, he's dead.
He's dead.
And there is, you don't see him die, and there's not barely any of the characters even care. Like you see his wife crying a bit. You see the Tommy Lee Jones character being like sad about it.
Mourn it.
But you don't get like a zoom in on his face. You don't know exactly that he's died. It's just the film treats it as though it's like real life.
Death.
Like he's dead, move on. And that's your main character for the majority of the film. I love that.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
That is one of the things that like never happens. You never get your main character who you're following the entire time almost just disregarded.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, oh, he's just another person that died in this like long list of killings recently.
Yeah, which is essentially the theme of the whole film.
Yeah.
I suppose if you want to get on to what the film's really about.
Does it not annoy you though? They've spent this entire time tracking him. And then it sort of tried to build it where he and Chigurh are going to have some sort of standoff, and eventually he just gets killed by the Mexicans.
I love that.
No, it's great.
In real life, people don't have like 5-hour standoffs and they're both elite killers, and then they have like just a typical thriller, like they meet up at the end and have a fist fight. You know, I love the fact he was killed by characters who we didn't even see. It was just like the Mexican guys killed him off screen, and then you were just like, oh,
exactly.
What?
The thing is, like, he was so careful with everything he was doing, and it wasn't even his fault that he died. It was his fucking mother-in-law who started blurting out. So that's the only reason he died.
But again, she was not aware of like the danger they were in.
Exactly, but that's the thing. Like, that's on him, because he should have just been more careful. You know?
Yeah, that's the thing. But I love how the first like hour and a bit of the film is like these two men doing everything they can to find each other, and then that don't matter. He's dead.
You dead, bro. Sorry.
And then it moves on, because I think the theme of the film is just, it's like real life, where it's just like these things don't have to happen for a reason. Some people are just fucking psychopaths and kill people. Some people just die for no reason.
Exactly.
No matter what you do, you know. And also, did anyone actually get the money? Or was it the Mexicans?
Because it was the Mexicans' money, I think, because they were doing the drug deal. No, I don't think it. I think it was the money was supposed to go to, the Mexicans, but then they got their money back. That's all it was.
Yeah, so like
exactly.
Are we sure he didn't get the money?
100%, he didn't. The Mexicans took it because
I don't think he
the
did.
white guy, Josh Brolin. What's his character name again?
Well, no. Hear me out a second, right?
Yeah. So he had the money when he was flirting with the pool girl.
Yeah.
And he was going to go off, but then the Mexicans killed him and took the money.
No, but he was in an apartment room, though.
That's why
he was in an apartment room, right?
Yeah.
And you've got a case where the Mexicans had to get in and out real quick, right?
Yeah.
So they killed him and then got away real quick before the police got there. You then had Chigurh, who then showed up later to the crime scene, right? And also had taken off the vent with the penny, as you'd seen earlier.
Yeah.
Right?
No, because Brad, he was in a different room. I was reading that because basically the film is, because it's based on a novel. The film and the novel have like a thing where the 50-50 of the coin flip is like, you may die, you might not die. And apparently when the detective, like Tommy Lee Jones, showed up at that room where he got killed, and he opened the door and it cut to Anton Chigurh on the other side, he was next door because he thought that was the room that Josh Brolin was staying in. That's why he didn't attack him, because I was confused there, because I was like,
I forgot
where
about
is
that.
he hiding in that room?
Yeah.
He was next door.
No, but in that scene, you still see there's a penny on the floor and the vent has been opened.
Yeah. But then maybe it wasn't in the vent. The thing is, it's left to you to work out if anyone's got the money. It doesn't matter who's got the money.
Well, that also goes the same for whether his wife dies or not.
His wife definitely died.
You assume she does.
I think there's a strong clue, because he's like he doesn't like blood getting on his clothes. So you know when he shoots the guy in the shower, he pulls the shower curtain. And when he comes out of the house after he
checks his shoes,
killed her or not killed her, he checks his shoes. Yeah. So I think it's pretty much implied that he definitely killed her. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't kill her.
Exactly.
And his speech there as well.
Unbelievable.
I just say that's probably my favorite bit of dialogue in the whole film.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I don't have to do anything, but I'm going to.
So
that's just like,
honestly,
this guy's fucked in the head.
Yeah, but it's like I was saying when he was talking to Llewellyn, and he was saying, look, you don't have to, your wife doesn't have to die, but if you don't give me the money, she's going to die as well as you.
And he said at the end, he
promised
needs to keep his word.
I promise.
He's got such warped morals where he will stand by what he says, but what he says is fucked up
that it's probably better that he doesn't stand by it, but he just
literally, because he's like, I need to kill you because your husband
promised.
Give me the money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not on me. It's your husband who killed you.
Yeah, but it's like
he doesn't have to kill her.
He's the most diabolical, evil person in the world, but you kind of have a bit of respect for him.
Yeah,
he stands by it. You know.
Honestly, no, I
maybe
agree.
Not respect. Not.
I agree.
You definitely used the wrong word there.
When I say respect, I mean just like I think Woody Harrelson says it as well. He's like, listen, he lives by a code, but it's a code to him. It doesn't necessarily make sense to anyone else.
Yeah.
Like he has his own principles, but his principles are just fucked up.
Yeah. It's a madness.
I do have a negative of the film. I don't know if you want to say any more positives, either.
No, we'll go into the negatives.
Go on.
Well, I mentioned that this is based on a novel.
Yes.
And what I found out after the film that made sense was that most of the dialogue, almost all of the dialogue, was basically taken straight from the book without being adapted. So I've seen other Coen Brothers films like Fargo and Big Lebowski, My Brother, Where Art Thou? And one thing they have is like fantastic writing. They always write like really sort of kooky characters, and there's always a bit of humor thrown in there. But because this film was based on a different source material and they adapted it as opposed to writing it themselves, I felt it was missing something, especially with the dialogue, because I don't know if you two agree, but Tommy Lee Jones, a lot of his dialogue scenes, it was very novel, flowery, hidden meanings behind it.
Where
everything
was
you're saying was metaphors. Yeah.
A lot of this film, there was just spoken in riddles.
Yeah. Which I suppose would work in the book because you've got a lot of hidden meaning behind the book, and obviously most of the book is dialogue. In this film, when the like tense action scenes were happening, I was really glad it was slowed down and there was no music and stuff. But whenever it cut back to Tommy Lee Jones on one of his metaphorical sort of
ramblings,
I felt like it was too slow, because usually there would be some humor thrown in or like some quirky side characters with Coen Brothers films. But with this, it was very, very stark and just flowery dialogue, you know?
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed as well. So with Tommy Lee Jones's character, like it was almost always like whenever he'd say something, you kind of really have to listen to try and work out what he's going on about.
If you can understand what he's
if you can
saying,
understand,
Because I did say to Brad, shall I turn subtitles on? And he was like,
I had subtitles on. I did have the subtitles on.
Should've.
Yeah, because like when they're in the diner and they're speaking, like they're speaking in riddles, and I don't think if I watch that movie back again and really listen, maybe some parts of it would make sense. But for me, it was almost as if he could have not been in the movie, and it would have been like almost the same.
I really liked his character. I just specifically disliked some of the dialogue. because I really like the fact that obviously the film's called No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
And he is the old man in this story where there's just horrific bloodshed going on, and he's just like a nice old country sheriff, you know?
Yeah.
And he's just like, the world is just passing him by and he doesn't understand it.
That's true.
But true. a lot of the dialogue was a bit too vague, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
what about you, Brad?
Yeah, you could argue the slowness of it, but again, it's meant to be like that.
Yeah.
Overall, I didn't hate it. In fact, I quite liked it. I mean, like you can't say you disliked it with a performance that was been given on the show. Like,
no, honestly.
But for me, it was just like plot points. There were some points where I just felt like I was wondering how the hell that could have happened. I was like, thinking in my head, it's like, okay, how could they have found him there? Like, why did he have to die at this point? You know, and for me, like, I would have maybe changed it a little bit in, like, obviously I am not a big famous like screen director or film writer. Obviously, right?
You can't tell the Coen Brothers how to make
cannot tell the Coen Brothers like you've done a worse job than I would do. Right? But from my viewing perspective, I think I would have liked something different.
Yeah.
I think that's because it's based on that novel, though, because it's like you can't change too much when they stuck very closely to the source material.
Yeah.
I think we agree on that.
They did, however, get an Oscar for that. They got an Oscar for best writing and best screen adaptation. But yeah.
I mean, I'm not criticizing the writing per se. Like, I think it was very well written, and I'm sure the book's good, but I think books don't necessarily translate well to some films with dialogue.
Yeah.
Because you can tell when it's book dialogue and there's film dialogue, you know?
Yeah.
Because when you're listening to those scenes, I mean, you said Reservoir Dogs is like an audio book. This film is like an audio book in those dialogue scenes.
Yeah. Agreed.
But when it comes to any of the action scenes and all of the stuff with Chigurh and Llewellyn, I've got no criticism like that writing at all, you know?
Yeah. I hear that.
Any other negatives? You got any negatives, Dylan?
I don't have many negatives to say. Like, we kind of covered it. Like, there's a lot about this movie I just liked. Like, I was sitting there in awe. I'd happily watch that again next week.
Yeah.
Happily.
I think it like is one of them films where it needs repeated viewings.
Yeah.
To kind of get everything anyway.
Yeah, because like watching like Javier Bardem, you could watch him over and over again and just notice subtle things he's doing.
That performance will never get old either.
Honestly.
No.
Yeah, he is the first actor to have won Best Actor in Supporting Role at the Academy Awards, Screen Actors Guild Award, BAFTA, Golden Globe, and Critics' Choice Award. Just for that one role, yeah.
Yeah, you can't argue it. Because did this come out the same year as Dark Knight as well?
It did.
2008?
It did.
So like the fact that you had those two sort of groundbreaking performances that year as well. But this, like, in my opinion, this is even better than Heath Ledger's, you know?
The thing is, so Heath Ledger was supposed to play Josh Brolin's character, but he just wanted a break after filming Dark Knight because it was so daunting. So he turned it down, and that's why Josh Brolin's playing that.
This seems to be a common theme for the films we recommend, where like Heath Ledger was meant to play one of the characters.
I'm not saying Josh Brolin was bad, but also could you just imagine having Heath Ledger in that position where he's I
think Josh Brolin works because he's very believable as a deep South
army hard nut,
Texas army vet, you know.
I hear that.
I'm not sure if Heath Ledger would portray that character in the same way. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him because obviously Heath Ledger has proved he can do what he wants, but I do think he was very good in the film. It was more his character didn't allow as much sort of freedom as Anton Chigurh, you know.
Yeah, no, it was overall just such a strong movie for me. Like, overwhelmingly.
Which made when I saw your Letterboxd review kind of weird.
Yeah.
we were looking.
What did I put?
We were looking for your review like straight away, or your rating straight away, because we were like, if he hated Reservoir Dogs, he's got to hate this. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. To be fair, I
Yeah.
mean, it was your recommendation. But
Yeah, what you've said here doesn't really reflect what you've given it on Letterboxd, in my opinion.
I'm trying to look it up because I can't remember what I gave it.
Right, maybe he was just
yeah.
in a trance.
Right.
Can we fast forward to the ending?
Yes.
Because I know you, Brad, you probably have something to say about the ending, and I do as well. Because we both kind of looked at each other after the film ended and the credits rolled, and sort of had similar thoughts.
Well, it's just abrupt, wasn't it? Like everything about this film
what was
just
the
a bit
ending?
abrupt.
Talk me through the ending again. I can't remember.
He's just chatting with his wife, and he's just like good old senior police officer, sheriff. He's like, yeah, no, I'm done now. I don't know what I'm going to do today. I had this dream. Yeah, we'll see my dad. Okay, bye.
Yeah, because he was retired at that point, wasn't he? So he'd retired because basically he'd just had enough. He'd seen too much, and he was like, what the fuck? But obviously, we don't see what happens to Anton Chigurh. He just disappears. You don't really know what happens with the money.
That kind of just starts as it ends, though, doesn't it, really?
Yeah. I mean, as you say, like the film starts abruptly and it ends abruptly.
How much do you really know about Anton Chigurh throughout this entire film?
Nothing. You know his name and you know that he's a fucking psycho.
That is it. You have no background on this guy.
Yeah. That's what I love, though, because that's the same thing. I mean, we spoke about it with the Joker. The Joker, when he doesn't have a backstory in The Dark Knight, because he keeps making up where he got those scars.
Yeah.
And it's left very vague. That makes a better villain because it's the mystery. You're like, how did this guy become this guy? And they do the same thing with this. But Dylan, did you, when the credits rolled, did you like, was your first reaction, what?
What? Yeah. yeah, literally what?
It just ended.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I don't know what I was expecting the end to be, but it definitely wasn't that, you know?
At first, I wanted more. I was like, is that how you're ending it? It seems a bit anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But knowing the like theme of the film and the fact that, as you said, Brad, the whole film is abrupt. Like people die and they're just gone. The film just ends.
Yeah.
Okay, get over it. It's basically that ties in with the whole theme of the film where it's just everything shit and you just have to deal with it.
I mean, to be fair, looking back, it makes sense for it to end like that. But when I first watched it, we were just sitting there. It's like, oh, okay.
Like me and Brad turned to each other, and we were just like, oh,
yeah. But no, it was apart from the abrupt ending. I don't have anything to say about the abrupt ending. It's not good or bad for me. It kind of just is there, you know. I'm not disappointed that it was abrupt. I'm not disappointed.
It kind of reminded me of the Gone Girl ending, actually.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, you've not seen Gone Girl?
No.
Okay, I won't spoil Gone Girl for you then.
Okay.
You should watch Gone Girl.
Okay.
But
fair. Right. Should we go to ratings?
Finish up.
Overall thoughts. So we'll go with Brad. Brad, what's your overall thoughts, your closing thoughts on this movie?
Acting really good. Plot line good. I'd say questionable in some places for me, but I'm not going to argue it. The camera work was good. Some of the odd characters that popped up that you'd never seen before, quite interesting. Like you had the random Mexican guy in a suit, and then there's I've never seen a Mexican in a suit. I'd say also you got the big boss man who was hiring out like
and he got absolutely
rinsed. Seeing that man just get popped was really satisfying.
Honestly,
anyone want to know what happened to the accountant? Like, anyone want to know what happened to him?
That's so good when he's like, "Are you going to kill me?" And he's like, "Perhaps," or something along those lines.
Honestly, you just don't know what happens to him. It's great.
Yeah. No, good overall. I don't mind how they left Chigurh's character. Again, he's a mystery to start with, and he's a mystery to end with. So
it's horrible that he's out there. You know, in
this
movie world, he's still alive.
He's still chilling.
No, for me, overall, 4 stars.
Yeah,
4 stars out of 5.
You want to go for it, Adam?
I suppose, I'll go because you recommended it.
Yeah.
Just very good all round. It's extremely well made. Like you can't argue with any of the like aspects of filmmaking, And I like those subtle hints of like lighting and just the lack of soundtrack, which you don't see.
Yeah.
It's definitely a thriller in the truest sense of the genre, you know.
Yeah.
Like it is thrilling pretty much all the way through. And it's slow in places, more with those dialogue scenes, but as it's taken basically verbatim from the book, that does make sense. So I can't hate on that much. To me, it's like a perfect film looking at it objectively, but it's just something slightly missing to me, you know? Like there's something a bit off, like as I said, with like the stilted dialogue and stuff. And I do think Coen Brothers have made better films. Like Fargo has a very similar premise to this, but it's a lot more light-hearted, and it's a better film in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with Brad. I'll give it 4 stars, like close to 4.5 stars. But it's just lacking something I can't really put my finger on. But it's a very good film.
I hear that. I'm agreeing with both of you here. The movie is just the entire thing. You're sitting there just trying to figure out what's going on. Your brain's moving so fast, and then Anton comes on the screen. You're like, oh my god, what the fuck's he gonna do now? You don't know what he's gonna do. Every time he's on the screen, something different happens. And just again, like you said, Adam, like one of the big things for me was that the lack of music added to this film. For me, I don't like in thriller and horror films how you always know what's going to happen because of the music, whereas in this it's kind of
those violins
you
coming in.
Exactly. I hate that. Like for me, the lack of music really added to this. I thoroughly enjoyed the acting in this, so for some reason on my letterbox I gave it 3.5. It's definitely a 4-star film.
Yeah, that's
I don't know why.
We were just confused. He's looking at us like, why'd you do 3.5?
Nah,
then?
I definitely misclicked. There's a 4-star
it's like
easily.
You rate something 2 stars and you're like, it's the best film I've ever seen. What?
Paramore's Riot album, best album ever.
But no, genuinely, I'm very happy I watched this, and I'd happily watch it again.
Yeah, it's a very good recommendation.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we've actually agreed. This is the first piece of media we've all completely agreed on.
Yeah.
It's the first time you've actually suggested something I thought was good. So I mean,
what about Cat in the Hat? Masterpiece.
Shut up, mate.
5 stars. Better than this. Right.
I mean, it's kind of funny, Brad. What do you think of me and Dylan both rating Cat in the Hat and this the same?
There's levels, and you two are not on the no.
Yeah, I got as much enjoyment.
This is a 4-star, right? You got a low 4-star, high 4-star. This is like the highest 4-star you can get.
For me though, like this movie, I got the same amount of enjoyment out of this as I did in Cat in the Hat. It's different levels of enjoyment, of course, but it's enjoyment nonetheless. Yeah. So yeah, 4 stars all round.
See if we can get Cat in the Hat into every episode.
No. Yeah. It's cancelled now.
I'm making it happen.
Okay then. So that was No Country for Old Men. And obviously we'd all recommend watching it anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you've been spoiled now, but you know, just watch it. 100%.
Right. So let's move on to album recommendation of the week.
Right.
Let's see if we're all in agreement on this one as well. So I recommended the Prodigy.
There we go.
Prodigy.
Yep. Released in 1997. It topped both Billboard and the UK charts. Yeah, 97, bro.
97?
Yeah, what year did you think it was?
Like, if I would have guessed, like 2005?
See? Right, we'll get on to that later. Anyway.
My mind's blown.
It was nominated for a Grammy, but lost to OK Computer. So can't really argue there. Obviously, I'm a Radiohead fanboy, but
I don't know what that means.
It sold 10 million copies worldwide.
Wait, sorry, you don't know what that means because you don't know what OK Computer is, or you don't know what that means?
The fuck is
radio.
That? Anyway,
just move on.
All right, it's fine.
Before I start raging. So it sold a total of 2.9 million albums just in the UK alone as well.
Fucking hell.
So I was saying to Brad, like, this is an album where you kind of grow up with it. Like, at least with those songs like Firestarter, Breathe, Smack My Bitch Up. They're like iconic British songs.
Yeah.
I would say, definitely.
I mean, everyone everyone has seen the Firestarter video.
Yeah, like everyone in the UK at least. It's a very like well-known British album. It's like a classic British album. It was mostly composed by Liam Howlett. So Liam Howlett is like the producer who does everything behind the scenes, basically. So he's like Mr. Prodigy. But obviously you've got Max in Reality and Keith Flint. This was the first album Keith Flint had vocals on. Yeah, rest in peace to Keith Flint.
Okay.
But yeah, previously he was just a dancer in the band and like a hype man. And then this album they were like, bro, just sing. We want you to scream us.
Really?
Something, man. Just say something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so they've had this was their third album. The 2 albums before that, Max in Reality had like some vocals, but Keith Flint was just sort of in the background doing a bit of dancing. But they were just like, we want you to sing on this album, you know?
Hype man make everything though.
Yeah.
So.
And this album sort of marks a change in sound from the Prodigy from Prodigy, because before this they were more sort of a bit like traditional drum and bass with like techno elements, and this album you had more of a punk aesthetic, I'd say, especially with
and
Keith
also more of an industrial rock element to it as
well. So this album, there's a lot of different sounds thrown together in this album anyway that we'll get on to. But 10 tracks and pretty much received universal acclaim. I don't think anyone reviewed this bad. Yeah. And I've not met anyone who's ever said like this album.
Dylan.
All right.
We will see.
I'm waiting.
Okay.
So before we get on to track by track, Dylan, what were your initial thoughts before you heard the album?
Before I heard the album.
Yeah. So you said you were surprised by the year it was released for a start.
Yeah. The Prodigy, right. The only song I could tell you from them was obviously Firestarter. I've never listened to a song beginning to end from them. I've never heard of anything. All I know is that the lead singer had like a bald head but with like red hair. Like red.
So like everyone knows he's got the double mohawk.
Yeah. That's the only thing I know. That's it. That was my knowledge of the Prodigy.
Interesting. And Brad, you've heard this album before, haven't you?
I have heard this album on multiple occasions before. We've seen Prodigy live.
Yeah.
So
And me and Brad saw them live, and they are incredible. Like, probably the best performers I've ever seen.
Right. In terms of energy.
Yeah, just pure intensity. Like you listen to these songs in headphones, right? But you listen to them live.
Right.
And that shit's different.
The thing is, as well, we did this in like a forest party, right?
Yeah.
It was intense.
Incredible.
That is one thing I wrote throughout the entire thing, is that I pretty much wrote this song would absolutely slap live.
Yeah.
Like multiple
100%.
times.
Yeah.
There was one thing I found about a lot of these tracks, and that gave me some kind of emotion to it.
Okay.
It made me link to something that I could be doing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up with this album as well, so I suppose there's an element of nostalgia with this album, where it's like you can remember certain times when you've heard these songs and stuff. But
but back to Dylan. I wanna keep hearing from you.
Anything else to say, Dylan?
I went into this completely blank. I didn't really know their sound. I didn't know what kind of music genre they was, if you could call it any genre. Completely raw. That's it.
Yeah. I suppose I'll mention that the genre they go by is big beat, which is kind of a combination of like drum and bass and other electronic elements, but with breakbeat drums. So it's like quite iconic to them. Like Fatboy Slim as well. That's like big beat.
They're very much pioneers of this sound as well.
Yeah, but very much do not strictly follow one genre, as we'll find out. So let's move on to track by track then. So opening track of this album, Smack My Bitch Up. This is the third single, and when it was released, it was very controversial due to the lyrics as the music video was controversial in a different way, but specifically with the lyrics, like they were accused of misogyny, inciting violence against women, but the band has said multiple times that the phrase doesn't mean that. It just means to do anything like crazily, basically. do anything intensely. And also with the other lyrics in the album, like in the album or this song, it's not telling you to go like hit a woman, you know. I'll defend the band from that, but when it was released, it was very controversial, obviously.
Of course.
But I do think that's in part to, you see Keith Flint with his double mohawk,
and then you listen to those words.
You got two black guys and two guys from Essex shouting at you, you know.
Stereotype. Oh.
Old white people, when this came out in the 90s, were obviously going to be pissed off and scared.
You don't understand people.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt with that. And the hook as well, that's by Kool Keith, who features later on the album.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I'll start with my thoughts of this song, and then I'll move on to you guys. So this song is an anthem. There's no other word for it. It bangs. It just bangs. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the perfect opener. It's iconic, and it's just fucking good. All right.
Yeah.
There's no other word for it. This song bangs. All right. Yeah. Especially like there's so many different transitions in this song. And one thing I want to talk about this whole album, the transitions are so smooth and perfectly done, where you get certain layers coming in the background, and then they're just like throwing them in. It never feels like robotic. Some electronic music feels like insert beat here, insert sound here. We'll do 16 like track of this bit, and then we'll move on. This is just unpredictable, and it's just dense, and you just chucking shit in there. So yeah, this is one of my favorite like songs in this genre of all time. So Dylan.
So the first sentence I wrote is the synthy stuff with the bassy thing is legit. I didn't know how to describe it, because there was
like
almost
it's hard
like
to describe something.
Yeah, like a synthetic guitar almost with like this really like rumbly bass. Like the bass actually was like it was thick almost. Do you know what I mean?
It was
thick with two C's. But no, I said like the parts where it was like progressively building up and like layering on just almost random sounds, but they weren't. It was just built so well.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing I said was the lyrics are so complex. Lol.
It's just repeating the same phrase over and over again, but that phrase gets stuck in your head so bad.
It's currently looping through my brain now, because I'm just imagining it live, just everyone fucking belting out the same two lines.
Oh mate, no, they played this live and it was insane.
Yeah, so I didn't know that this song was the Prodigy.
Did you know?
Because I had heard this song before.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way you couldn't have. I swear. Like...
This song, and this is the same for a lot of the songs on the album. I've heard so many, just like, I don't know how you'd call it. Like they're sampled so much.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of copycats. Like their sound was so unique at the time, but it birthed like loads and loads of clones, basically.
Yeah, because I've heard so many bits. Like this song, there's this Japanese rock band I listen to. I spoke to you about it actually before Adam mentioned this, Brad. Crossfaith. They've got multiple songs where they take these guys' songs and just make it heavy Japanese metal.
Right. When I've seen them, because I've seen Crossfaith before.
Yeah.
And they did a cover of Omen when I saw them.
Oh right. Yeah.
It was pretty good, to be fair. I'm not going to argue with it.
Really good.
It is a complete rip-off. But
that's the one thing with Prodigy though, where they're like universally accepted in loads of different music circles. Like they do download, they turn up at like rock festivals, and people are still like, "No, these guys are fucking sick."
Yeah,
it's, like,
it's because their
who
music
hates
just.
them?
I feel like they just transcend genres.
It transcends,
in general.
Well, like I'm saying though, they do have sort of industrial rock elements to them, which I feel it makes them very widely accepted within rock communities.
Yeah.
So
what about you, Brad? For Smack My Bitch Up.
Right. Nah, this song's just an anthem, innit? Like, just can't help it. Like, I'll run through my emotions, right? So I was listening to it and I was like trippy, psycho-funked, dazed. And then I was like, I'm just overcome right now. And then for my imagination of what's happening in this song, is like I feel like I'm having a drug-filled bender at a hippie rally, right? That's where I was at with this song. And like I say, the song just slaps. I mean, this is, like I say, an anthem, so can't argue
Absolutely.
with it.
Okay, moving on to track 2, another
Breathe
anthem.
with me,
mate.
Back to back.
Bro.
Right. First thing with this song, okay, the bass.
Yes.
bro.
The bass is legendary, and it just slaps so hard that it's just ridiculous. And that's how it opens. You've got like the sparse drums and
Honestly.
like dun 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 dun.
Fucking chills. I've got chills.
Yeah.
Thinking about
and
it.
then the song from there just gets more and more layered. You've
Yeah.
got like kung fu noises going. You got like
Yeah.
just like
Honestly,
the synths where it's just
the
like their
synthy
synth
guitar
sounds.
bass riff
Yeah.
thing. Oh,
Yeah, and you've got like guitars in there as well, where it's like
you also move to like the acoustic section where they like sort of they had this little switch up with the acoustics where they just sort of drowned everything else out and put these drowned out acoustics in that made you feel like you were drowning.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's another thing as well though, where their sound, even though a lot of it is Liam Howlett on a computer chucking in synths, it feels organic because
they're not trying.
Instruments in there as well. Like when we saw them live, they had a drummer, they had guitars, they had like piano players and all of that shit on there. And the sound it sounds so like raw, even though it's so meticulously put together.
The one
thing
about
weird.
this song was
I don't know
that
how
the
he does it.
production was so carefully manipulated. Like it was
exactly,
I'm not going to use this word often, but it was perfect.
Damn.
Yeah, I can't argue. This song is perfect
for me.
For what it's
the best song
to
on
do.
the album, definitely.
It's a banger. It's 100% a banger.
Yeah, I put this on every day.
This was the second single as well, and like again, iconic. I just grew up listening to this.
Incredible.
And also like Max in Reality and Flint on this as well. They both like share the vocals. So like Flint's got the distorted like go play my game, and then Max in Reality's like the you are the victim and shouting and stuff. And their vocals over this sound works really well because it's basically like an industrial punk song.
A lot of the songs I did write, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But also I feel like you don't need to. It's just there.
No,
like
not
there's no
they're angry.
Angry ramblings, and I can appreciate it. But yeah.
And it's like it's more just sort of catchy phrases that you can take on board, you know. Like you are the victim, just shouting that repeatedly. You just like it makes you think a little bit, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything, you know. So I mean, we could just talk about brief like 10 minutes about how good it is, but we'll move on to Diesel Power. Okay, so I'll say straight up, Diesel Power is one of my favorite songs on this album. I mean, obviously, I'm a hip hop head anyway, but this is one of the hardest beats I've ever heard in my life. The beat slaps. Like, there's no other word for it. It just comes in aggressive.
Yeah.
You've got like banging sirens going on in the background. It sounds like someone's like hitting a keg.
Those sirens were all over this album as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's exactly what I wrote.
That's a staple of this album. Just like blaring sirens that just work so well. But just the drums in this song as well. Like Dylan, you've gone on record saying one of the things you love most is drums.
That's exactly what I've written.
You must have been hearing these drums.
Honestly, the entire thing. So the first thing I wrote was, it sounds very old school hip hop vibes. But now that I know what year it was made and all that,
97,
it makes sense. Like it's so stereotypically hip hop, but it's not. Like it's kind of
Prodigy's style with
we go.
The thing is, you could not find a beat like this in 1997 for hip hop.
No,
there's no way.
Exactly.
Nothing existed like this.
Exactly.
And also, like Kool Keith, his flow and his rhyme scheme is unbelievable in this song. Like I did look up into him before because I've not heard much of his stuff. His lyrics are very metaphorical, so they don't necessarily mean much when you're listening to them.
Yeah.
But they're like a lot of monosyllabic, like intricate rhyme schemes. And he's been suggested to be an inspiration for like the way Eminem raps, which makes sense listening to this song. And his flow is crazy on this song.
Honestly. It's like butter, smooth.
Yeah. Any other points, Brad?
Just don't need to make any.
No, it just
I
bangs.
don't
It
need
just
to.
bangs. And the hook as well. I just mentioned the hook is really
Yeah.
simple but
Diesel
effective.
power.
Yeah, close
Yeah.
your mind drastically, fantastically. You just
That's
repeat that over and over again. He wrote that
It
down,
flows.
and he was like, "We've got it, boys. We've got it."
We've got a hit. There we go.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Again,
bangs.
the one thing I did right is that I can't like say enough how much I appreciate like some good bass in a song. Because it just it kind of just adds so much. Like you've got songs like these days, like in bands and stuff, where the bass is kind of there to set like a rhythm, to set like a kind of bass line. But in all of these songs, it's a prominent kind of instrument.
Yeah,
It's
but
a prominent sound.
That's taken from drum and bass. Obviously, you can't
Yeah,
have the drums
of
without the
course.
bass. But
I didn't know they
obviously,
were
they're
very drum and
mixing
bassy.
in they're mixing in elements from rock and hip hop,
Yeah,
other genres. Like this is like a hip hop beat on steroids.
yeah, exactly. It's
It's
really
mad.
good. So good.
Right. Track number 4.
Hell yeah.
Funky shit. Oh
Hell
my
yeah.
god, that's the funky shit. Right, this song was stuck in my head for like the last 5 days. It's not the best song on the album, but it's very catchy and it serves this purpose, and it's a different sound to what we've heard up to this point as well, because the album's come in incredibly aggressive and you're like, fucking hell. And then they chuck this in there and they're like, we can do more of sort of a party anthem as well.
This, like I say, when I keep talking about the sort of industrial rock vibe, but this is the song that really kicked it off for me on that sort of theme. And yeah, it just as it goes through the measures of it, it then starts kicking the beat up and then starts using all sorts of crazy noises.
Yeah.
Like this is the one song that had literally everything in it.
This was Liam Howlett just turning on his computer and just throwing in like everything.
Simps everywhere, sirens,
honestly.
like claps, just throw everything in that track. And do you know, my explanation for this song was I'm not going anywhere today, but I feel like I'm in a rush to do something.
No, that's true.
Brilliant. That is so good.
The other thing as well, you say that it's like constantly changing. It never gets boring, because as we said with some like drum and bass or things in that genre, it's like, right, we got a minute of just like dun 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 dun. Now we'll switch up. This is just like 10 seconds of some blaring sirens, and then it switches into something else, and then there's a different thing, but it all works so perfect.
Exactly. So the one thing I did say, now I was gonna not say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. This song reminded me of like old school fighter games like Tekken and Street Fighter. Do you know what I mean? I know it was very video gamesy. Like it was like a fighting platformer. The entire thing.
Do you know, I did think that with the haze in the background, you know, you got the hey. That did remind me of like a Street Fighter, I think.
There you go. Honestly,
so
it reminded me.
That could be a sample.
I think so. And then there was one part where they used like actual video game like sounds, like, you know, like the Mario fucking the coin getting collected and stuff like that. Things like that. That was just thrown in there, and then they came in with like the layers of like fucking bongos. And then they came in with some fucking synth. They came in with a synthy trumpet.
This song had everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, you in the back of my mind, I was there like, is it too much? But it's not. It's never too much. Like no matter how many layers they add on, it's never too much. It's never something overpowering something else.
Yeah,
it all just fits together.
I like how it samples the Beastie Boys with the funky shit thing. So it's got a bit of a hip hop element, but also like it's called Funky Shit, and the song is just really funky.
Yeah,
you know,
you
can't not bop to this.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
They
to put
made
this
it
on and not like bop around a bit.
They made this song and they were like, "Oh, what should we call it? Oh, it's pretty funky. It's some funky shit
funky.
right here."
Yeah. It's just kind of funky.
Yeah,
but yeah, this is Liam Howlett really flexing his muscles, like, because no one else is on this from the Prodigy. This is just him producing shit. And he's just like, fuck this, I'm gonna fuck this shit up.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So next song, Serial Thriller.
Right.
Okay. So this apparently samples Smells Like Teen Spirit, which I didn't catch the sample, but this song does give a very grungy, again, punky feel.
Yeah.
So this is another one with Keith Flint on the vocals. and you've got a lot of guitars in there. So this
Yes.
is without some of the synths and like the faster drum pattern or the bass or whatever. This could just be like a straight up rock song.
Yeah, it's very punk. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it is. It's like a punk, industrial punk, like we've said. And yeah, like blending those elements together, it's like it shouldn't work. You're just like you're chucking guitars in there with these other sounds and just some Essex bloke shouting over it, you know. But it does work.
One thing I want to add into this is that in terms of how the album has flowed so far, is that every track is connected into the next one.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I love the
that.
transitions.
And for me, that's like so important in an album because you have so many albums, right? That they'll play you a track and then you just play the next track and then you just play the next track. This has been seamlessly flowed into the next track and then into the next track without trying to break the rhythm.
Honestly.
And they sound like different as well. It's not like the songs sound the same. How do you transition from funky shit into serial thriller, but it works somehow?
Yeah. Like I have on Spotify, you can do the 5-second blend thing at the end where it blends the songs together. And it just flows. The entire album is just one wave of just different songs.
With this album, you don't need to put a blender in there because it's just blended already.
Yeah, it blends already. Yeah.
And then, but I wrote. Yeah, go on.
Before you say what you think, I wanna finish my point because I do think this song, there are better songs of its type on the album because Firestarter and Breathe are better versions of this sound. And I'm not in any way saying this is a bad song because I don't think there's a bad song on this album.
There isn't.
But it's not as good as the other songs that sound like this.
Yeah. So this is my joint lowest rated song, but it's still so good. So I wrote that the guitars in this I love a guitar. Great. And then I also wrote, I love how repetitive some of these songs are, but they are not repetitive in the slightest. So they'll have things such as.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. I'm trying to get what he means.
So there'll be things like the drums and then the guitar, which are the same kind of thing throughout. It will have the same rhythm, and then in different parts of the song, they'll have a fucking siren in there. Then they'll have a synth noise. Then they'll have fucking drums, and so like there's parts of the song that are so similar, but then go through it, and then there's no similar parts to it. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what he means, yeah. Because
like you can cut the song up.
It's a consistent sound throughout, but it's never the same.
Yeah, like if you cut this song into 3 pieces, there'll be consistent parts in all 3, but all 3 of the parts won't be the same.
Yeah. And those changes happen so rapidly as well.
Yeah.
Like most songs, I'll be listening to the intro, and the intro will be like 40 seconds of like stuff happening, and then it comes in, but then 20 seconds after that, it's like we're changing again. So you're constantly on edge, like waiting for the next transition to happen.
Yeah, so for me again, still love this tune because I've liked every tune so far. The punk energy that Keith Flint gives this is incredible.
Yeah. Serial thriller, serial killer.
Just add to what emotion I was feeling or how I was feeling when I was listening to this track, and I was like, I swear I'm on the run from police. That's the feeling I had from that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just like gonna punch some stuff up, you know. Right, we'll move on to track number 6, Minefields, featured on the first Matrix film soundtrack.
Yeah.
Which I looked at that soundtrack, by the way. That soundtrack bangs. Looking at some of the songs on there. Yeah, so you've got Rage Against the Machine
as well. Yeah.
Marilyn Manson, Du Hast, Rammstein.
Do I
love Rammstein. That soundtrack to the original Matrix.
I've never seen Matrix.
Okay, say no more.
Sorry. But yeah.
This one started off a bit more calm. So a lot of the songs have come in like straight in your face, like going crazy. And this one's got more of a calm build up. I love the like Eastern influence synths.
I wrote that, yeah.
Like it just reminded me of being like in a temple somewhere, you know, and like
I wrote it was very oriental.
Yeah, and it's like the drums are just mad. Like the drums, just when they come in after you've had that like little synthy bit, I'm just like, fucking hell, what's going on? And you got that wobbly bass in the background as well. So that's something you get a lot in like modern electronic music. I'm not sure how much that was used back then, but Yeah, it was like a bit of a dubsteppy like bass in the background.
Yeah.
It's just, again, it just sounds so clean and meticulous how it's put together. It's every element comes in at the exact right time, and I don't get how he does it. It's just like the tracks don't change, they develop.
Yeah.
It's always like add in and add in and add in. And also when it gets to the end breakdown, like the last minute,
Yeah.
where it just goes mental, because it's a bit more calm than some of the other songs.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing about this song is it's spent its entire time just building.
Yeah, and it's a bit more atmospheric, this one. It's more more
it's
of
a lot more
vibe.
refrained, you know.
Yeah, until you get to the end when the drums just start going absolutely crazy, and it's just like, and you're just like,
Yeah.
Well, the one thing about this track is I didn't find there was like a big payoff to it. I felt like it stayed. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I dislike the track in any way here, right? Just so we're clear on that.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
We're clutching at straws, basically.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm trying to find criticisms. That's all I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Right? For me, there was like no massive payoff on this song, but it kept intense throughout and then built the intenseness.
Yeah.
So for me, it was good enough anyway.
It was like an incline instead of like just a bang and then
It wasn't like a loop de loop, or it wasn't like a stealth, you know. It was just like
nice
a
little
gradual build.
It's
that incline you've never got off.
Yeah.
Definitely. Dylan?
I don't have anything else to say really about it. It's just yeah. Good song. Solid.
Right. So track number 7, Narayan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Narayan. Okay, I'm going to give you a little information here.
Please,
Narayan
I need it.
is basically Lord Vishnu of the the supreme god in Hindu religion, right?
Okay.
Christian Mills, who features on this song, singer on this song, is a Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay. And the chanting at the end is also a common Hindu phrase meaning I bow to the divine. Okay, so the okay, that's all Hindu. And to me, I'm gonna say it, this is one of my favorite songs on this album.
Okay.
Even though you got Smack My Bitch Up and Breathe and Firestarter, they're just absolutely intense, crazy.
This track,
I love this song. This is Prodigy
9 minutes of madness.
9 minutes, yeah. This song's 9 minutes long, and I just wrote epic.
Yeah.
It starts off beautiful piano melody at the beginning.
Right. You know what? I want to say something.
You feel like you're in
that.
space.
Yeah. No, I wrote I'm in a trance, like from the beginning to the end. But you've got tribal sounding drums. So this is like a complete switch up from what you've heard before with the drum.
It's
where
darker.
They're in your face and like incredibly loud with a lot of hi-hat. Whereas this song is like more like what you said before, like with like bongo drums, and it's like darker. I love the singing in this song. His voice is like butter over this beat.
Soothing.
Yeah, it's completely different to what Flint's been doing in like Max in Reality, where they're shouting you, and now suddenly you've got this guy like serenading you, or you've got Hare Krishna serenading you.
Yeah.
It's very atmospheric, and it builds and changes perfectly. I love how it goes into the chanting section, and then when it comes back to the beginning, it's the same, but it's different. You've got different elements in there. Man, this song is just genuinely beautiful.
I'm not gonna lie to you, right? This song is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Right. Purely because like I started and I felt like I was in space with those little piano keys or whatever it was. And then I was like the opening guitar build. I was like, oh shit. Then the drum beats start kicking in, and you're like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
And then like say I catching some of the lyrics as well. I was feeling that. And then I started by saying I for this song I felt like I was in a situation where I only had 5 minutes left to live, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like there's like a catastrophic event about to happen, you know?
And then as the track goes on, you reach like 5-6 minutes, right? I spaced the fuck out. I'm not even joking. I'm sitting there. And I was just like, I sort of lost myself in the music for a second. I was just like completely lost in the sounds that were going on around me, right? I felt like I had 5 minutes left to live, and then someone put me in a spaceship and threw me out into space, right? And then I was dwelling there for eternity. That's 100%. How that song made me feel. That was the most 9 minutes worth of music I've ever listened to.
I just say to any of our viewers, okay, we may sound pretentious and like, oh, we were in space or we got lost in the music, right? Listen to this song.
Headphones on. Listen to this.
Quality headphones on.
Yeah,
not some like cheap Samsung knockoff. Like,
oh shit. Anyway,
so Dylan, any other thoughts?
The only thing I can add to what you guys have said is that in the beginning, it sounded like an ominous horror movie kind of made into like a techno soundtrack. That's the first minute and a half of this, and then after that you kind of just sitting there just like almost dribbling. You know, that's all I had.
Honestly,
I didn't know what to write about this.
Right, I didn't have words. Okay, because this sort of harkens back to their earlier sound as well a bit, because it's more atmospheric and less of the punk stuff. But their first album, Experience, has a very similar song on it, which is 12 minutes long, called Weather Experience. Okay, and I'd urge you to listen to that as well. I mean, just listen to all of Prodigy's albums, but yeah, if you like this song and you like an epic, incredibly long song like this, listen to Weather Experience as well.
Okay,
because that slaps. Right
now,
right. Firestarter. I mean,
coming from that song to this song.
Yeah, so we're 8 songs in and we get to the first single, which I appreciate because it's tempting to just chuck your first single on first track, have those 3 like singles on the beginning. But no, you have to listen to the rest of it. You've got a 9-minute song you've got to get through before you listen to their first single, which I kind of love. It just shows their confidence, I guess. And I mean, what is there to say about Firestarter that hasn't already been said? It's just iconic. Everyone knows this song. Everyone in the UK has heard this song at one point.
It's just a classic.
It's a classic, yeah. It like classic is thrown around, but you can't argue with this. Again, you've just got it's an aggressive punk song, but with blaring synths.
It's that rave techno sound as well, though.
Rave techno, sirens. Just this song especially, there's sirens just constantly.
You're just on high alert, aren't you?
It sounds like you're in a war zone. Like you feel like you're being assaulted by Keith Flint, but in a good way.
Yeah, it's literally an assault, but like it's just good to listen to. Like you're listening to like the scratchy synth guitar, and then the fucking drums are punching you in the nose, and like it's really just it goes hard. That's what I wrote. It goes
just
hard.
From start to finish, just goes hard. I literally wrote that exactly. Keith Flint on this song's very Sex Pistols like vibe as well, especially his vocals. He really reminded me of like Johnny Rotten. He delivers stuff. I mean, obviously he's inspired by punk anyway. This song as well was #1 for 3 weeks in the UK. So it's like
makes sense.
1997, you had like all of these boy bands like Take That and shit like that, and then this just comes along and it's just like no, we're
shits all over.
To put it in perspective, do you think a song like this could ever get to #1 ever again?
No,
I'm not sure.
No,
I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
It's so this album in general is just so groundbreaking. You've not heard an album like this before.
No,
it's genuinely just like something completely different.
Yeah.
And this song, like when, as I said before, like this must have pissed off so many people when they saw the video of Keith Flint, and they're just like, it's just in your face. And I love people who just like stand by what they're saying. You know, they're like, no, fuck you. This is who we are. Deal with it. You know.
The one thing I did say,
it's iconic.
Yeah, one thing I did say about this is that this wasn't like my favorite song on the album. I thought I was going to be controversial there, but no, it's a solid song. It is a solid. Don't get me wrong, solid. But yeah, not the best song on the album, but still fucking. That says a lot about the album. If this is
I mean exactly, yeah. If your first single and like one of the biggest songs of all time, especially in this genre, it's like if that's not the best song on your album, then you're doing a good job.
Yeah, you're doing something right.
Anything to add, Brad, or should we move on to Climatize?
I've said what I need to say.
Yeah.
Okay. So track number 9, Climatize. Again.
Oh yes, I want to
one of my favorites. I just
Euphoric.
love this so much.
I want to speak
Euphoric,
about this.
atmospheric, beautiful, floaty. I'm like floating in space, just like drifting away from my problems, you know.
I just to throw my description in there, I said it felt like I was in another car chase, but this time in a jungle.
Fair.
Yeah,
fair. I feel that. I would like to be controversial here, and so I'll write you down exactly what I wrote. Okay, I'll read out.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. I'll read out exactly what I wrote down. So I said, for the first minute and a half, I didn't know where it was going, and I didn't like it. But then,
right. So when the bass drop come in, and you was just like, no, not feeling.
No. Hold on. I said the first minute and a half, I didn't know where it was going, and I didn't like it. But then the bass kicks in, then layered on the drums, then a xylophone, and then somehow it's just a solid fucking instrumental where it just fucking takes you on a ride. And then the last thing I said is, I don't know how they can make such random noises layered together and sound so good. Because nowhere would you put a fucking like drum and bass drum with a xylophone.
Yeah, and there's like tribal percussion and like a blaring synths, but it's like a relaxing part, but it works. And
that's what I mean. So the first minute I was like, I don't get it. And then it got to 2 minutes when they started layering stuff on every couple of seconds, and I was like, "Fuck, I've just been got."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'll say what I think about this song because as I said, this is one of my favorites again.
Yeah.
Because I love the atmospheric like drum and bassy sound.
Yeah.
It's just like it samples the Who. Did you hear the Who sounding guitar in the build up? So about a minute in, there's the guitar sound that comes in, like the back and forth. And I was like, that reminds me of like old 70s rock. Looked it up and they sampled the Who.
The thing is, though, he staggered the guitars and then looped them. I mean,
it's not like taken straight away. He's made his own sound.
It'll be hard to know that, like
and also when the bass riff comes in with the synths and the drums, like you said, all I wrote was mate.
Yeah,
with about 7 8s, just mate. Like, oh damn. And this is the only fully instrumental track on the album as well. So every other one's had some sort of vocals in it. Yeah. But this is, I just said with this, it's like it has such a weight behind it. It feels like it's building to something epic.
Yeah.
It's like the soundtrack to the apocalypse or something, you know?
That's amazing.
It's just,
I love
it just keeps going. And I described it, this is probably really pretentious, but it's a soundscape. It's just like, it's just amazing. Right? There's no other word for it. It feels like I'm floating above myself, looking at myself, listening to it.
And just to add to that, I mean, at this point, I mean, we've only got one track left of the album to go.
Yeah.
But I've just had so much admiration for the production and mixing on this.
Impeccable. Like, there's nothing you can say about the production or sequencing or like mixing any of it, you know? Right. Cool. So, final song.
Yes.
Now,
I've got some stuff to say.
Okay. Right. Firstly, this is a cover. Okay. So this probably makes more sense.
Okay.
Because this is a cover of L7, who was an all-female like punk rock grunge band.
Okay.
From the 90s. Okay. So obviously Liam Howlett was a fan and he wanted to cover it with Flint. I listened to the original song and it's very, very similar. So he essentially took a punk song and added a bit of an industrial,
my question,
electronic element.
Right, is that did the original song have an organ in it?
No, it didn't.
Right,
because that blew my fucking mind. I was just like, how can you get an organ in this?
Bro, that's exactly what I've written.
This is to me the worst song on the album, but it still bangs. This is a 9 out of 10. Okay. But it's the worst song on the album.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have just given away my review, but obviously, I mean, we've been gushing over every song, so it's not really a surprise. Immediately, the drums and guitar riff are just in your face and very punk. obviously it makes sense because it's a punk song.
Yeah.
The distorted vocals work really well in the chorus, but during the verses, it was very difficult to understand what he was actually saying. I feel like. Not that that's a deal breaker, but it's a bit drowned out. It's not quite as good as Firestarter or Breathe. Similar to what I said about Serial Thriller. I feel like they perfected the sound in the other songs. So to me, like, I love this song either way, and I'm not like get rid of it off the album. But you've got to choose a worse.
You've got to choose a worse one.
It's just like that. But it gets you pumped up. Like
100%.
You're just listening to it, and I'm just like, I want to run a marathon or just like punch someone,
Yeah,
but
100%.
Someone please answer me. Whose idea was to put an organ in there?
That bro,
I'm not even joking.
I love
that blew my mind.
Bro, that's Liam Howlett. He's just like, right, we got this punk song. We're gonna chuck some electric organ in there.
I was just like, who does this?
Honestly,
it works so well though. Are you saying that's bad, or are you saying
no? I'm saying it's like
genius.
Stupid how someone could think of this and make it work.
The organ was my favorite bit. Just a do, and it's like
I literally wrote, "How has man made an organ work in this song?" Like. Honestly, how does a person's mind work where they hear that song and go, do you know what? Let's slap an organ in here and it will bang.
It's gonna bang with an organ,
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, listen, people throw around the word genius too much. Liam Howlett is a genius. There's no way around
There's no doubt about it.
Like what he can do with instruments and like just like a laptop or a synthesizer or whatever.
He was not using a laptop. This is 97.
Yeah,
this is 97.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, if you gave me a MacBook and GarageBand, I would not be able to even attempt to make one of these songs.
That's why it's even more impressive.
You got to consider it. He's got to be using 90 synths to be able to do this.
Yeah,
literally, yeah. Like, and you've got like people today in 2020 with everything at their disposal,
and they make the same thing over and over again. It's every song that is in the charts are the exact same thing over and over, just rehashed. This is the most
that's why it's so impressive.
One thing I will say about this is the most different thing I've ever heard. The most experimental piece of art I've ever experienced, I'd say. That kind of gave my thing away.
I mean, it's not experimental. It's just different. It's like it's its own thing. You can't even really put it in a genre. Yeah,
I didn't know that was one of the questions I wanted to ask. I was going to ask what is their genre, but I feel like after listening to this, the genre is no. That's it.
Because the other big beat people from the time, as I said, like Fatboy Slim, Chemical Brothers, even then, like they're making very good songs. But this is something else. This is something entirely new. And you can't replicate this sound.
No. You take sort of other pioneers of around that time, like Basement Jaxx or anything like that. I mean, they don't come close to this.
It's not the same. It's like you have those specific albums in history that changed the sound. You know, you've got like obviously grunge. You had Nirvana. I know they didn't start grunge, but when they released like that album, they changed that sound to something new, and then everyone sort of follows trend. This album is just like 97. Who was making shit like this?
No one.
It's just mad.
There we go.
So, I mean, we're already on final thoughts pretty much. Anyone got anything else to say about Fuel My Fire?
Nope.
Not really. That's it.
People like you just fuel my fire. I mean, just that phrase. You just have that in your head and it genuinely pumps you up. It's like so motivational.
I've just had Breathe With Me stuck in my head all day.
I've had like different songs stuck in my head. That's the thing as well. Like, everything's catchy, but you never get sick of it.
It's just that bass line, breathe with me. Dum 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 dum.
Right, let's go to final thoughts then. I'll start with you, Dylan. Let's go with just your final thoughts and your rating.
Final thoughts overall, just probably one of the better albums I've ever listened to. I don't listen to albums often because I don't have that attention span, but this entire thing just caught my attention. I didn't have to break it. I've listened to this like 3 times, this album, in the last few days. Solid album. I am going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Solid. Fair enough. There. up there.
Yeah.
All right.
No, classic, iconic, pioneering. There's nothing really more I can say about that. I mean, I think they just bangs. So, because I don't like to throw tens around, I'm gonna say 9. Because 9. I like 9.
All
9
right,
out of 10.
That's two are being cautious.
Obviously, that's still a ridiculously good rating.
Yeah.
Fair enough. No, that's fair enough. I'm not gonna be coy about my rating.
Yeah.
To me, this is one of the best albums of all time.
Fair.
In this genre, it is the best album of all time.
Yeah.
Like in terms of just electronic music, whatever you want to call it, all of this is the most iconic and best album there is. Just even like 10 songs, it's the perfect length. They all transition into each other. There's not a bad song on this album. Also, like we grew up with it, so I was thinking maybe we're just a bit nostalgic, and maybe Dylan, an outside perspective, would change his mind a bit. But no, this album holds up. It holds up.
I didn't know it was 97.
If this was released last week, it would still bang.
Yeah.
That it's a timeless album, 100%.
100%.
This album to me is almost perfect.
Almost.
Literally like as close to perfect as you can get. But I'm gonna give it a 10. It's like on the sliding scale of like if it was out of 100, it would be like a 98. It'd be like a 98.
I feel
you know.
It's understandable, man.
It's a 10 to me. I just almost flawless.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. So this is our episode of rating things and actually being really
rated all round.
Yeah, positive about things for a change.
Yeah, unlike Cat in the Hat. Oh
right.
no.
So
what's that mean? I'm scared.
Have you got a question for us, Brad?
Yeah, I've got a cheeky little question.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, what is the best biscuit?
Oh, Brad,
this is
stop it.
Controversial.
We've had this
debate before.
Multiple times.
Right. It depends, right? You've got two things. You've got biscuit on its own or dipping, okay? Because I like to dip in my coffee, right? So if I'm going to be dipping, can't go wrong with a hobnob.
Okay.
Straight up hobnob or a ginger nut, like a ginger nut.
Yeah.
If we're talking standard biscuit without a drink, then you got to look at bourbons, custard creams.
Okay.
Or what are those?
Foxes.
Foxes.
Yeah,
like
I knew you were going to say that.
The
I was
circle ones
that.
with the cream in the middle.
The crunchy ones. Yeah,
and also a chocolate caramel hobnob.
Ooh.
That is elite.
Okay.
All right. For me, I'm not a dipper. I am anti-dip, in fact, I'd say.
Anti-dip.
I am.
Because... Okay, go on.
I'm anti-dip. But my favourite biscuit of all time... Now, I'm not saying, like... All right, it's shortbread biscuit, right? But good shortbread. No. Good shortbread. I'm not talking Sainsbury's basic shortbread. I'm talking good Scottish all butter shortbread.
We're talking grandma's made Scottish shortbread.
Honestly, no.
It's too
shortbread
dry.
is not dry. I'm sorry, if you have good shortbread,
got that
it's
buttery
silky.
Biscuit base.
Buttery biscuit
You need
base.
to have a glass of milk after that. He needs some milk.
You've got shortbread, right? Shortbread is up there, and I will not take any abuse. Okay,
right?
Not having any slander for my shortbread. Shortbread's up there.
Okay,
right.
Brad.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty basic when it comes to biscuits. I mean, I love a custard cream, really. Yeah, but that's what Adam was saying was with the dipping, though. I mean, like, you can't go wrong with a digestive if you got a bit of milk with you.
No, I disagree 100%. Digestive is horrible.
Whoa, it's not horrible.
Bro, you dip that, and then 0.2 seconds later, it's already in the bottom of the cup because it just
no, because you've obviously soaked it in too much. Obviously,
nah, digestive is wank.
No, it's shut your mouth, bro.
Honestly, there's slander from Adam right now,
and we were agreeing up to this point in this episode. This is the most we've ever argued. It's like digestives,
and it's all about
digestives are decent, mate.
Well, digestives are the OG biscuits.
They are.
Put some chocolate on there. Chocolate digestive. Then
chocolate digestive is good.
Yeah,
Dark
can't argue with a
digestive.
chocolate digestive.
Yeah,
Anyone?
But just dipping a normal digestive, nah, that's not for me.
Nah,
dipping in general, people who dip are just.
Also, just quick question. How do we feel on the old malted milks? You know, like
malted milks are
overrated.
Good. No, they're good.
They're good, man.
No.
They're good.
People always like to hate on them,
anything
but
malted
it's
are
like
good.
baby biscuit. It's like,
Exactly, Rusk.
What you eat when you're a baby.
Good.
Bro, Rusks are banging. I don't know what you're
shut
talking
up.
about.
Oh yeah, you used to eat Ross straight out of the bag when you was living.
Sharp, stop exposing me like this.
Fuck's sake.
Alright, yeah.
Right.
Oh,
so next week, we are gonna be recommending things. What am I even talking about?
I just recommend.
He got thrown off by the
My brain
Rusts.
just fucking went. I was thinking about them Rusts.
Okay.
My album choice,
Brad,
right?
hit us
It's
with
my
something.
film choice.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So
Brad.
my film
Well,
choice next week. Okay. So we've had a very positive episode. We've been gushing over the album.
What are you doing?
And we've been we really enjoyed the film.
Where is this going?
And No Country for Old Men was
Where's
quite
this going?
a slow, intelligent,
Oh,
thoughtful
no.
drama.
I'm not having this right now.
I want to
I'm
talk
scared.
about a superhero film
Oh no.
that I
Green
have
Lantern.
not seen yet. No,
Please
that
be
I have
Green
not seen yet.
Okay.
But is very notorious. Okay. And I basically want to know, how bad is it? I want to talk about Green Lantern.
I called it. Yes.
Right.
Adam, yes.
I want to finally see Green Lantern and
This is
see what
weird.
it's like.
I want to experience this film.
Nah, last night or the night before, I was literally saying I'm gonna watch Green Lantern in the next few days. That
No
is
way.
fucking, bro.
Because
I'm
it
so
came up on
excited.
Prime. And
It came up on Prime for
we
me
need
as
to
well.
talk about this. Yeah.
Adam,
And none of us have seen it, have we?
I've seen it. I've seen it.
I've not seen it.
Oh,
okay, this
mwah,
should be interesting.
mwah. I can't wait. I can't wait.
And Brad, what is your album next week?
The album we will be listening to is Sam Fender's Hypersonic Missiles.
Okay. I've heard of this guy. I've seen his posters everywhere.
So
okay,
fair enough.
This guy looks
I will ask that you guys please do some listening into the lyrics.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, even if it's just like pulling up the lyric screen as you're listening to the song. Like,
okay.
And I will say, pay attention to the script in Green Lantern because there's probably
subtle nuances they're trying to hint at.
Right.
No.
Okay, so
oh my god, I'm so excited
to hear us have a mental breakdown.
I can't wait.
Fight each other because I'm not used to us agreeing on things.
This is going to be a great episode.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, then, guys. I'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.